As a teenager, Aubrey Morris was the Roswell correspondent for the Atlanta Journal and the Atlanta Constitution. He graduated from the University of Georgia with a degree in journalism and went to work for the Atlanta Journal. He spent 13 years there as a police reporter. Secretly, Morris wanted to work in radio. In 1957, WSB program director Elmo Ellis wanted to add a news department to the station. He called the paper, and the city editor gave Aubrey a great reference, but added, "He has a terrible nasal voice." And thus was born Atlanta's first radio newsman. His voice became, according to Ellis, the best-known voice in Georgia broadcasting. Aubrey could get interviews when no one else could. Sweden's King Gustav must have been surprised when Morris tracked him down on the golf course during a visit to Atlanta. Morris got into Emperor Haile Selassie's limo at the Martin Luther King gravesite to get an interview, but forgot to turn on his tape recorder. He still gave an award-winning report. Mayor Ivan Allen took only one reporter to Paris after the disastrous Orly Airport crash in 1962, Aubrey Morris. Morris interviewed every U.S. president, from Truman to Reagan. However, there's one that stands out.
I arrived at WSB about 6:40. Was ready to go to work, and as I came in, the guard at the back door of the old white columns on Peachtree said, "President Carter's downstairs." I said, "What is it?" "He's about to go on network live at 7. So I ran into the newsroom, grabbed a tape recorder, and I went down the hallway as the clock ticked towards 7. You understand deadlines and how that clock inexorably moves around. Well, I said, "I've got to get the president of the Secret Service." He said, "He's in the men's room." I said, "When's he going to be out?" And about that time, I heard a voice said, "Is that you, Aubrey?" Here was the president in a stall in the men's room at WSB. True story.
Morris ran back upstairs to radio to get his interview with Carter on the air first. Aubrey Morris seemingly had sources everywhere and seemed to be everywhere at once. The police and fire departments would call him with news stories. Often he reported live on the spot from his automobile. On one rare icy Atlanta morning, he couldn't get out of his driveway. This led to his on-air warnings for Atlantans to stay home. Do not attempt to go downtown. It's too dangerous. Listeners heeded his warning. That was the day Aubrey Morris brought Atlanta to a standstill. Morris was news and editorial director at WSB Radio for more than 30 years. He retired in 1987 after being honored with countless journalism and broadcasting awards. He was the man who brought newspaper to radio in Atlanta. And he is a 2008 inductee into the Georgia Radio Hall of Fame and the recipient of the Elmo Ellis Spirit Award.